Good morning, guys. Welcome to Monday. So this is a very short week. We're only going to be doing stuff on Monday, Tuesday, and half day Wednesday. Don't look for anything Thursday or Friday. And then when we come back Monday and Tuesday the following week, there won't be anything out here. But Wednesday, we will be back to full day. Okay, so for writing. So last week we started talking a little bit about poetry. We're talking about rhyme. We're talking about patterns, all kinds of things. So we're going to actually start writing poetry for the next couple weeks. Okay, we're going to be talking about all these different wonderful types of poetry. And listen, guys, I'm not going to say, here they are, do them all. We're going to talk about one. You'll spend a day or two to do that, and then we'll talk about another one. Okay, so it's really, really super easy and fun. Now, before we get into actually writing a poetry, I just want to reintroduce you to Mrs. Stanza. And then we have Mr. Stanza over here. And this teaching team is going to help us learn all about poetry. And if you remember, she taught us the basics of poetry last week, of course with my voice. Now we're going to have Mr. Stanza, and he's going to lead us in our own, writing our own poetry. All right, so the first thing we need to talk about is imagery in poetry. And I want to stop a moment and think, what is imagery? Think about things that you've read. I know I read the first chapter, Charlotte's Web, and it was talking all about her barn. That author uses a lot of imagery in her writing. Okay, so first let's take a moment to discuss it. All right, so what is it? Well, imagery in poetry is what sparks the senses. And if you remember, you have 5 senses. We have our sense of smell, you have your sense of sight, your sense of hearing, your sense of touch, and your sense of taste. And yes, good authors can incorporate words to help us with these 5 senses. Okay, and if you can do that, you have imagery. All right, so let's continue. Now I'm going to read a poem to you, and I want you to think about what are 5 senses does this poem bring to you? Think about, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? Okay, so here we go. January brings the snow, makes our feet and fingers glow. February brings the rain, thaws the frozen lake again. March brings breezes, loud and shrill, to stir the dancing daffodil. April brings the primrose sweet, scatters daisies at our feet. May brings flocks of pretty lambs, skipping by their fleecy dams. June brings tulips, lilies, roses, fills the children's hands with posies. Hot July brings cooling showers, apricots and gillyflowers. August brings the sheaves of corn, then the harvest home is born. Warm September brings the fruit, sportsmen then begin to shoot. Fresh October brings the pheasant, then to gather nuts is pleasant. Dull November brings the blast, then the leaves are whirling fast. Chill December brings the sleet, blazing fire and Christmas treat. All right, so let's think about the 5 senses with this poem. Think about things that you may have smelled, anything that you may have seen, hearing, touch, or taste with this poem. All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so these are just some examples. So with the smell, the author did a good job when they were talking about tulips and lilies and roses. And you know what, guys? I love the smell of roses. Okay, so I think they did a really good job bringing imagery with smell. What about sight? Scatters daisies at our feet. I love that line, okay, because again, it's a great visualization. And you can picture all the daisies. For hearing, your sense of hearing, breezes loud and shrill. I can hear the loud wind. Okay, think about when it's very windy outside and you can hear inside it's shrill. So again, the author did a good job with incorporating your senses. Touch. Chill December brings the sleet, blazing fire. I can feel the warmth of the fire and the coldness of the sleet. And then taste, fruit. Okay, think about it. I know September, I love when we come back to school because I know that they're harvesting apples. Okay, so again, this author did give us example of all 5 senses, and that in itself is imagery. All right, so let's continue. Where am I? So imagery and poetry. As you begin to write your own poetry, try to use imagery often. It just brings any writing to life, guys, whether it's poetry or your normal everyday writing. After you write your rough draft, it's a good idea to reread your poem several times and check to make sure that you have imagery. Okay, so the first poem that we're going to do is a bio poem, and you should have done this in 3rd grade. All right, so we're going to begin with a bio poem. And again, if you forget what a bio poem is, think bio stands for biograph. Okay. All right, so you can write a bio poem about a relative, a book character, like I'm thinking Charlotte, we just finished that book, or any person. For your first bio poem, though, you are going to write about yourself. So that's going to be the first requirement, is the first one's going to be about yourself, because that's the easiest one. You know you more than anyone. The second one that you can do, you can pick someone else. All right, so we're going to do one together. So here is our rules for a bio poem. Line 1 is their first name. So again, guys, that should be easy for you. Line 2, you need to list 3 adjectives that describe the person. Now remember, an adjective, they're describing words. It's not a verb. Line 3, important relationship. So again, if you're doing it about you, if you're a girl, you could put daughter of whoever, brother of, son of, okay? Niece of, it could be whatever you want to put. Line 4, who lives, and you need to list up to 3 things. And I'm going to give you an example in a minute. Line 5, who fears? Like for me, who fears snakes, spiders, and cotton. I know, isn't that weird? Line 6, who needs? Think of 3 things that you need. I need to get back to school. I need more sleep. And I need more time to get everything done. Line 7, who feels? List up to 3 things. Guys, with the environment that we're in, you should have lots of feelings. Line 8, who dreams of? Give me 3 things that you're dreaming of. Line 9, resident of, well, Pittsgrove, unless you're a school choice. And then give me your last name. Super easy, right? All right, so let's see what this looks like. So this is Alex, first name. Line 2, 3 adjectives describe that person. Remember, adjectives are describing words. Trustworthy, comma, determined, comma, responsible. So that tells us a little bit about Alex. Line 3, the important relationship. Daughter of Mike and Renee. So I'm thinking Alex is short for Alexandria. Number 4, who loves? Well, what does Alex love? And there should be 3 things. Loves soccer, comma, math, comma, and pizza. Line 5, who fears? Who fears rats, comma, being forced to move, comma, and tornadoes. Line 6, who needs? And again, you need 3 things. Who needs friendship, movement, and sunshine. Who feels sadness that she never got to meet her older brother. Now, notice that's only 1 thing. It says you have to list up to 3. 1 is okay as long as you can create it into, a sentence. All right, line 8, who dreams? Who dreams of scoring the winning goal of a championship game? Okay, so she's only got 1 dream. If you have more than 1, you can put it. Resident of the United States of America. And again, guys, you can do that too. If you want to put Pittsgrove, that's up to you. And last name, Jones. Super easy, right? And again, guys, the first one's going to be about you. When you get done with this, you're going to go into my Google form, and I will have this set up for you to type into, and then you'll be able to just go ahead and type your bio poem, okay? Please remember when you're writing, notice how the beginning of each line is capital, and you're just taking the words right from here. If you're putting more than 1 thing, here we're listing soccer, comma, math, comma, and pizza. Now, because it's a bio poem, notice that there's no periods there, and that's okay. Make sure you're putting the space when you're typing it between each line. All right, guys, have fun with this. You're only going to have to do 1 tomorrow on yourself, but then I want you to think about what are you going to do Tuesday? Who are you going to do it on? Okay? All right, guys, take care.